this is Daniel Catalaa. I'm coming to you with an update on the no-drain pots. These are transparent plastic pots that are seated right behind me, up on the balcony. They have no drainage holes. That is the unusual part about these pots. And I have a preliminary video that explains how I set them up. If you haven't seen it, just click here on my hand because you'll understand more clearly what the observations will be for today. Okay, so let's go upstairs and see what we find. Here we are upstairs, and you can see by the lush green leaves that there has been significant plant growth. Before I talk about that, I want to show to you what happened with the water consumption. To do that, I'm going to remove a couple of leaves that block the measurements that I took. Okay, so we started 6 weeks ago at this level. You notice that there's just about 6 inches of dry soil. The rest was all water. After 2 weeks, the level had dropped by about 2 inches. Then, as the leaves grew bigger and more transpiration took place, the water loss was faster. So between week 2 and week 4, there was a larger drop. And now at week 6, the water level is right at the bottom of the container down here. Okay, so I have not touched this, watered it, I haven't picked the leaves, I haven't added mulch, I haven't done anything to it in 6 weeks. And if you look at the mustard greens, they've just taken over. Very luscious growth. Some of the other plants I had in here did not grow too much. They may have been overshadowed. An example is this edamame or soybean plant that didn't do quite well. The other plants I have in here are garbanzo beans. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. You see the small leafed. That's a chickpea plant. And it just seems like the mustard greens did much better than the rest. On the next pots I have zucchini. And we have big leaves. I had flowers come out. You can see one right over there. And we have several young zucchini that are starting to swell right here at the base. So I'm also happy with the zucchini. An additional observation I wanted to make is that with these transparent containers, you can see how far the roots have grown. I see roots developing really deep down into the box. When I started the original no-drain pots, I used plants that had roots that were approximately 2 inches in length. So I wondered, what if I just put seeds in there? Or if I put cuttings from a different plant? Would they still grow? Let me show you what I got. Here we have bok choy that was grown from seed, these young tender leaves. And here, much smaller, we have some what will be celery in the future. That's all from seed. And then we have some strawberry cuttings. They're a little banged up, but I think they're going to pull through just fine. And what's happening is we have a water table, and by capillarity, water is rising. You can see the little drops of condensation, and enough moisture is making it up here for the seeds to receive the signal to germinate. So if you were wondering about using seeds or cuttings for this method, I can tell you that it does work, and I will show you a different example downstairs. Here's another example of plants that were grown in no-drain pots from seed. We have 3 different varieties of spinach here, and we have some peas growing at the back with these supporting poles. I'm showing this to you because if you're on a budget, you can find these containers outside of restaurants. They buy cooking oil in large volumes and they leave these by the trash. All you have to do is cut off the top and you can get started. Notice I'm not looking for anything that is excessively wide or deep. I'm looking for something that's tall. Height is a key component for a no-drain pot to work. Let's review the pros and cons of the system. The no-drain pot is intended only for annual plants, vegetables that you plant every year and you harvest. It won't work for perennials like a small lemon tree. You also have to plant everything at the same time so that you have equal roots of equal length. And it will work in a low to medium rainfall geographical region. If you're in a tropical area where you get abundant rainfall, you may want to locate your pots beneath a roof. The advantages of the system are that for very little work, you get high yield, a big crop. It's great for water utilization. The water is going through the plant. You have temperature stability. The mass of the pot is so large that it releases heat at night that it has absorbed during the day. The leaves stay dry because it's been watered from the bottom. This means less mold on your leaves and less predation by slugs. As far as the next steps that I'd like to test out is if I need to refill the container with water because the plant has not reached maturity, how much water should I use? Also, I have a question regarding soluble salts. Will salts accumulate in the container because it has no drainage? And finally, I'd like to see how the box performs during the rainy season. So that's the work I have planned ahead. Stay tuned, enjoy your planting, and I'll see you soon.